All right, welcome back. Okay, I have to give you a statement now. On RealCopStoriesVideos.com, we're up in the 230 some range, 240 now, of the stories I put in, and that is mostly, in fact, most of it is when I was a policeman. And policemen, when you get to detective, all these open different areas come up. When you're a policeman, there's certain areas you work, and the last 240 stories were pretty much doing all the policemen's roles. Vice, narcotics, gangs many times, a lot of narcotic stories, a lot of gross stuff. So now, from now on, unless I remember one other one, it'll all be a detective. I'm a detective now, which is really amazing. And now they're all detective functions, okay? But I'll say that every time hopefully if I remember, that I work in the detective assignment, but in case I forget, from now on, it's all detective stuff, okay? And, I'm sorry? I can't understand. I'm sorry. I don't understand.
What are they? Detective functions.
What do the detectives
Explain
do?
them. What detectives do.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Detective stories will be primary narcotics. I got assigned to narcotics, and it's going to be different levels of assignments because, you know, in narcotics, it's a huge division. It's probably at least 500 detectives in there of various ranks, supervisory ranks, the rookies like me, the ones low on the pole. And all the stuff I did there. And I'm working several assignments here. In each video, I'll tell you where I'm working because I get moved around a lot because they're trying to plug you in the right places. And then units, like you go to a squad for 6 months, and then the squad disbands because of personnel needs, and you get transferred to another squad, and other people, and other assignments, and other. Narcotics is like 20 things in narcotics. You know, there's majors, there's marijuana, there's trafficking, there's truck driving, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the narcotics realm. So that's what you'll be seeing, okay? Sorry about the little delay there. Sorry about that, but I'm here. Anyway, I'll give you a quick one to start off with. I had a jury trial, and I arrested a lady who had been under the influence of heroin. And what we do is we examine their arms and find puncture wounds. And then we take Polaroids of them, of the puncture wounds, and then we do a bunch of other tests. Like we check their pupils, we check their urine, they have to pee in a bottle, all this stuff. And then it's just a misdemeanor, but then, of course, some of them like to fight it in court. To condense this story, I'm testifying and about the wound and about the urine, all that stuff. Okay, cross-examination came up, and one of the statements I said was, he asked me, do you know the difference between an illegal injection mark and a legal injection mark? And the attorney sat back and just smiled on his face like, you know, he's got me. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but the jurors were a mixed jury. I think it was like 7 black people, 4 of them were ladies, and they had a mix of Latino and Caucasian. But the nurses, it was 4 nurses in there, the black nurses. And so I didn't know that till afterwards. And the city attorney warned me, he said, they're going to ask you like 30 questions about being a medical person. Are you an MD? Are you an RN? And you just say no to all of them. You're not. You're just a policeman. Okay, so I was all prepared for that. But this question came up, and I went, how do you differentiate? I said, oh, it's very easy. And so I could see the jurors all leaning forward, and he's like, because usually, I think he'd done this before, and he had trapped officers before. And I said, well, here's what we do, your counselor. And again, they didn't like me, attorneys, because I would always, if you're the attorney, I would turn and tell it to the jurors. I never went back to the attorney until I was done. Then I looked back. I even had an attorney tell the judge, Your Honor, he's not looking at me. And the judge says, so? He's looking at the jurors. And at the break, the judge says, you know, counselor, the jurors are the ones that are going to decide the case, not you. Okay? They didn't like that. Oh, I used to look away and test it. He'd be talking, and I almost ignored him. I mean, they hated that. I loved it. Oh, I loved it, playing those games. Oh, I got so good at it. It was scary. Okay, so anyway, I'm not bragging, man. I was good. Okay, so I said, here's the difference, sir. I said, when a person who does heroin shoots in his arm, this is what it looks like when you shoot into the skin. You shoot the needle in, okay? Your skin goes like this, okay? It's like that. It goes in. And then they pull the needle out and they inject themselves and it goes back down, okay? Well, they do that, you know, 3 or 4 times a day. And what happens is, this does not heal. And so what you get is you get a scab, or you get an abscess in here, or you get infections in here. So instead of being like this, I call it a trapdoor, you know, trapdoor spiders and all that, it does this. And we take pictures of it and we examine it under a magnifying glass. We see this, and around it we see a rim of decaying skin, of blood red, or actually blood red, not pink red, because blood red means it's recent. Okay, it's red, not pink. Pink means it's healing. Black, like, you know, because of the needle's dirty, dirt, and infection. That's what you get like this. And he goes, oh, well then what's a legal injection wound? I said, well, I can tell you, legal injection wounds is this. We used to go, we'd be in our office, and there's 30 of us in there, and a mobile truck would pull up, mobile blood bank would pull up. And I did this because shows the juries that we do this, okay? Jury is a showtime, okay, when you go in front of a jury. And as soon as somebody yells in the intercom system, the bloodmobile's here, all 30 of us bail out to give blood. Now that right there probably got him a little bit like, oh, and we do it all the time. The blood bank would come like every 3 or 4, every quarter it would show up. And we all run outside and give blood. What's the big deal, okay? I mean, you know, we work in the city, and this is the people we serve. It takes you 5 minutes to give some blood, maybe to help somebody. I said, but here's the key. We all give blood, we all come back in here. Now there's 35 narcotic officers in here. And you know what we do as soon as we get back, sir? We take out our magnifying glasses and we examine each other. We're like vampires, okay? So I'm examining my partner's arm, he's examining my arm, and what do we see? We see this. We see this. A clean injection wound. Because now we see, even 50 minutes later, it's almost sealed already. It's back down where it came from, and you can see a little clear and pink fluid around the edge, because that's, you know, I guess it's blood and a few other things. But anyway, this is what you see. We're like vampires. We're looking at each other's wounds, okay? And the next day, or the end of the day, we look at each other again, and they're all flat again, and now the clear liquid is gone, because guys have washed themselves and the day's gone on, and now it's pink, and it's starting to heal. And then the next day, or 2 days, we do each other, just because I said, for this reason, we come to court, we can explain what it is. He didn't like that. Objection, Your Honor. And the judge says, no, he's doing very fine. Just continue on. He didn't want to hear that. I said, well, 3 days later, which is, we have testified that the wound we saw on this person's arm was within 48 hours. That's the key. And how do we know that? Because in 48 hours, we examine our own partners, and we look at the wound, and now the wound is not healed, but it's pretty much clean. It looks like just a little line where around the skin, where it went up like this. It's all clean now. And then within a week, it's almost sealed, and that's what we testify. So that's interesting, very interesting. And I won the case, and even the nurses came out and said, we know what he was talking about, and we don't like the doctor that testified against me, that, you know, this is impossible for him to be that way. And the doctors are hired guns. They have no medical practice. They testify all day in court. That's all they do every day. Hired guns. And guess who pays them? You do, okay? You do, along with the translator in this case, along with the defense attorney. You're paying for all that, and I'm paying for that as taxes. But just, you know, it's interesting. I enjoyed that. I researched it, and we did it. I mean, we're out there like vampires, looking at each other's arm puncture wounds, and it was fun to do, and I learned a lot. It was a sponging. I was brand new then, brand new detective, and I was learning all about this, because we used to examine half a dozen of these guys a day, if not even more. That's what we did. So very interesting. Enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy that, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.